Hi, I'm Jill with the West Regional Branch of the Mobile Public Library, and today I'm going to tell you about 3 books I don't really recommend. I mean, you may enjoy them, they're highly critically acclaimed, and there were some good points to them, but I didn't particularly like them, so let me get on with telling you about these books. Okay, the first one I want to tell you about is The American War by Omar El Akkad. And this one is set in the not too distant future, and where the southern states, or the red states, have seceded from the blue states, and we kicked off the second American Civil War. And this war is dragged on for years and years, and it's all told from the point of view of some characters that are in a southern refugee camp. And I think the good part about this was the refugee stuff, because the author has like a journalism background, and he's spent a significant amount of time in refugee camps, so I think he knows how that works. The problem with it was all the southern stuff. I'm not sure he's ever been to the South, or if he's been here, he's not spending a significant amount of time, because every time you turn around, you're doing something, they're doing something that you're like, that's not Alabama, that's not the South, that's not Texas. No one in the South would ever say or do that. Like there's a whole thing about tea that I'm like, no, it's iced tea. Not just that, but you know, every time you turn around, he's doing something that you're like, no, that's not the South, that's not the South, that's also not the South. So maybe if you are not a Southerner, or you have a higher tolerance for things to go, oh well, he's just making this up, you might still enjoy it, because like I said, there are some good things about it, but that part just threw me off completely. Okay, now the second one, that big critically acclaimed novel, a lot of people loved it, but I could not get on board with, was The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. The premise of that one is that it's not too long after World War II, and a meteor hits the earth, and it's like an extinction level event, like what killed the dinosaurs. So they realize this, and they're like, we need to get off of Earth. And of course, this is set before the moon landing, so nobody's ever been in space before, but this, you know, accelerates the whole program. And then since they have to set up a colony to, you know, actually get away from Earth to save people's lives, they can't just send men, they have to send women as well. So the main character is you know, a lady who was a World War II pilot, and she's got a strong mathematics, science background, so they recruit her to be an astronaut. And so the whole premises was great, and a lot of really good research, and like the world building, like politics and all that kind of stuff was great. However, the main character is one of these characters that the author keeps telling you how great she is, but then she doesn't write how she's so much more wonderful than everybody else. It's just like that, tell rather than show. So I found that very obnoxious, and you know, I did not go on to the sequel. Okay, but again, you know, maybe you have a higher level of suspension of disbelief, where you go, okay, if they say she's the most wonderful applicant in the round, I'll believe her, and all the math and science and history stuff might pull you through, but it did not work for me. Okay, so then the third one that I've read recently that I could not really get behind is Recursion by Blake Crouch. Again, big, highly acclaimed novel. And this one is a time travel one, where they discover a way to go back in time and rewrite history. And of course, people keep doing this, and this eventually ends to basically the end of the world. And then they have to figure out how to change things in the past to avoid that. And I usually love time travel stuff, but the sticking point for me for this one was the fact that he spends so much time explaining his made-up science. I'm like, it's all fictional. You don't need to explain it to me. Just tell me it works and move on. So that part was kind of boring. And then all the going back in time repeats got a little bit repetitive. But again, your mileage may vary on that. You might be fine. A lot of people did really enjoy the book, but I found it dragged a bit. Like, it wasn't that long a book, but it felt like a longer book. But again, you know, all 3 books, there's something to them. There's the political stuff in American War, there's the science and history in Calculating Stars, and then there's the sci-fi time travel stuff in Recursion. And those may all really appeal to you, and you may love the books. A lot of people did. Okay, so for a food thing, pickled onions. I used to get, like, back when there was a Cock of the Walk here, whenever we went there, I'd get extra pickled onions because they are great on sandwiches and salads. But now Cock of the Walk's closed, so I gotta make my own pickled onions. It's not too hard, but I make a batch from time to time because they are so good, like I said, on sandwiches, because they get that like tartness of a pickle, but then the like bite of an onion, but without being too strong. Like, you know, if you put like raw onions on it, it's just too strong. So if you like onions at all, I'd recommend giving that a try. You can Google a recipe. Like I said, it's not too hard to make. Anyway, let me know what you have been reading and eating lately, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.